Just seems. I'll get the chat up as well so I can see the chat. Okay, so as I say, if anyone else pops into the waiting room, I will admit them basically. So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining this presentation, which is going to talk about the Association for Business Psychology and also about the benefits of joining the Association for Business Psychology and some specific benefits that apply to students who are studying on accredited university programs. That is, those programs that have been specifically accredited by the ABP, and in this case, specifically master's programs. So let me give you a little run through of the agenda. I'm going to introduce myself in a moment. Then I'll talk a little bit more about the ABP and what we do. And then I will talk specifically about the benefits for students who are either studying on or aspiring to study on an ABP accredited master's program. Some tips about getting the most out of ABP membership, and some examples of upcoming events. And I'll leave a little bit of time for Q&A if you want to raise any questions at the end. So we'll run for about an hour at most, basically, just so everyone knows how this session is going to work. I'll try and keep an eye on the chat. So if you drop questions in, I will either try and address them as they come up, or if you want to raise your hand, that's also fine. And I will deal with questions as we go along. So don't sort of think of something and then think, oh, I'll leave it till the end because Dawn is talking or whatever. So let me introduce myself. So I'm Dr. Dawn H. Nicholson. I am a board member, the vice chair of the ABP and the head of university accreditation. So basically, what does that mean? That means that I am responsible, along with some members of my team, for basically reviewing the programs, and we do accredit both master's programs and bachelor's programs that are brought to us by the institutions to determine whether or not they can become ABP accredited by meeting the criteria that we believe is appropriate for accreditation to apply. I am also the creator and architect of the ABP Biz Psych Cup. There's a little link there to the Biz Psych Cup. You may have heard about it. You may be even thinking of competing, and I will say a little bit more about the Biz Psych Cup later in this presentation. I am an honorary lecturer in business and organizational psychology at the University of Kent. I've given you my LinkedIn profile there. I'm very open to connections. I think some of you are already connected with me, and I have absolutely no problem about individuals connecting with me, so please do. I welcome that. I also have completed all of my academic work at the University of Kent, a BA, which was probably about 100 years ago now. And then in the last 12 years, I've also completed a bachelor's in psychology, an MA in education, and a PhD in the psychology of decision making, all at the University of Kent. So my research interests are in group and individual decision making. I'm also increasingly interested in human and AI decision making. How does working with AI impact the decisions that we make? We all know that basically we jump onto our phones when we don't know how where we're going or how things work, and we pretty much place complete reliance on what is coming out of the AI piece at the other end, basically. And we also know that it isn't always right. And there have been plenty of stories circulating around of individuals driving off bridges under construction that hasn't been reflected on Google Maps, for example. Lorries getting stuck under bridges. I live out in the country. It happens frequently. All because people are blindly following AI. So this is a sort of new area of research for me that I'm interested in pursuing. I'm fairly recent to academia. I've spent the last 12 years in academia studying and teaching. Prior to that, I spent over 28 years working in business in HR and in consulting to HR. I feel very privileged to have worked for, in my opinion, three of the greatest firms in the world. Arthur Andersen, anyone who is familiar with the Enron scandal may have heard of Arthur Andersen, where I spent 9 years. I also worked for the greatest investment bank in the world, Morgan Stanley, where I was a managing director and the deputy head of human resources for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. And I was a partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers, consulting to clients on people and HR related matters. And as I said, I've spent the last 12 years working and studying in academia. So let me talk a little bit about the ABP. So the ABP, we like to think of as the home and voice of business psychology. It is the professional body for aspiring and experienced business psychology practitioners in the UK. And I think that word practitioner is quite important. Some of you may have had some interactions with the BPS, I would suggest, and I myself, I'm a member of the BPS and a chartered psychologist to see cycle that the BPS is probably a little bit more academic than the ABP is. The ABP has been around for 25 years. We champion professional excellence with a big focus on evidence-based practice, and that is a large part also of the accreditation, university accreditation process. And fundamentally, it's all about using an understanding of psychology and human behavior to improve business performance and the quality of working lives. I would also say, and I think this is an essential point that is often omitted when people think about business psychology, this is about improving productivity. The workplace has a productivity problem. It is particularly acute in the United Kingdom. And if we don't have productive workplaces, then no matter what we do to improve the quality of working lives, it's not going to go well. So we want great productivity. We want great workplaces, and business psychology, I think, has a big role to play in achieving that. So what are our values? Well, basically, we are inclusive. We are open and welcoming to all who embrace business psychology. You do not have to have a business psychology qualification. You do not have to have business psychologist in your title even. So we are open and inclusive to all. Our members include HR specialists, L&D specialists, people who are just interested in business psychology. So we really want to be as open and inclusive as we can. It's also about being accessible. We want to make the application of business psychology user-friendly. And I think this is a big challenge for all of us who are in the business psychology field. We need to make it clear what we offer, what we bring to a workplace. If I think back to, sitting in my time in my Morgan Stanley chair, for example, my first question to anyone who came to me with a product or a proposition would always be, how is this going to do several things? How is it going to make my firm better, my employees happier, and my job easier, basically? And we have to be able to articulate those things. It's also about promoting business psychology. And as I said, that's about raising awareness of that specialist value of business psychology for people and organizations. I see a lot written on LinkedIn from people who are MBAs, and I'm thinking, a business psychologist should be writing that. They're far more qualified than you are to actually talk about that. But we need to really get our messages out there. It's also about demonstrating best practice. Want to share examples of where business psychology has made a difference in the workplace, where it's been successfully applied. And it's also about building capability. We want to enable the development of business psychology knowledge and skills. And our university accreditation program is a big part of that. So what do? We basically split our activities, I suppose, along sort of 4 pillars. And each of these pillars is represented by a board member. So we have this, first of all, guardianship and standards. And within guardianship and standards, that covers our university accreditation process. Individual certification, we also offer as separate and distinct from university accreditation. We run an annual conference and awards. And as I've alluded to, we also run the BizSite Cup. We focus on education and growth. It is about education For our members, continuing education, continuous learning, and also growth. So we have our flagship mentoring program, ABP Connect, that you can access as a member of the ABP. We offer regular speaker events. We offer our conference on an annual basis. And we have vast amounts of CPD resources on a whole range of business psychology issues that have been accumulated over the course of many years. We focus on engagement and advocacy. Engagement and advocacy includes any outreach opportunities. How can we continue to elevate the profile of business psychology? Where can we collaborate with others who are in the field? For example, the DOP, the Division of Occupational Psychology within the BPS. We are collaborating more closely with them now. We are also looking for opportunities elsewhere and around the world to collaborate with similar organizations focused on business work, organizational, occupational, industrial, whatever we call it, psychology. Focused on member retention. What do our members want? How do we keep them happy in terms of their growth, their development? What are they looking for, basically? And it's about advocacy, advocating for where and how business psychology can make a difference. And we have a people and experience pillar that focuses on the management of our volunteers. The ABP is completely volunteer-led, and we could not do the work that we do without relying on volunteers. Some of you may even have volunteered for us in the past or be thinking of it again. We're always open to people coming to us looking for volunteer opportunities. We advertise a lot of our volunteer opportunities through our community hub. And we ourselves, trying to make sure that we are applying business psychology in our own internal activities. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits for students on ABP accredited courses. So it's important to note that, if you are studying on an ABP accredited university course, it's more than just a qualification at the end of the day. This is also about unlocking a package of exclusive benefits, which are really designed to try and give you a head start in your business psychology career, whether you're new, whether you're to business psychology, whether you're transitioning into the field. I know some people who go back to university are in that process, whether it's already part of your role, but you're looking to elevate your role. So some of the benefits, basically. If you are studying on an ABP accredited program, then you receive free ABP membership for the first year of your program. So you basically need to provide proof of your enrollment with an ABP accredited university. You pay no joining fee, so that's an immediate saving of £42. And there is no subscription fee for the first year, again, because you are on an ABP accredited program, so that is a saving of £45. So that's an £87 saving immediately. And that gives you instant access to our professional network, our community, our resources, and to free events, basically. But the benefits go on. So after your free first year, if you're still studying, I know not everyone wraps up within the year, then you can continue your membership at the discounted student rate, which is £45 a year, instead of the full rate of £108 a year. So there's another £63 saving annually whilst you continue to study. And you can also develop a professional network within the ABP community. I mean, the professional network that we all have and we all try and develop is really critical in my mind for, achieving development, but also critically sometimes for achieving roles. So as a student member, you'll be able to access through our community hub and connect with practicing business psychologists. You can attend member events, many of which are online, so don't involve any travel, aside from our conference and award. And as I said, you can also join the ABP Connect mentoring program, where you can access qualified mentors who you might choose to develop a mentor relationship, either around a specific subject area, specific field, or if you're thinking about broader long-term career aspirations. The most significant benefit is the ability to achieve professional certification. So if you successfully graduate from your ABP accredited master's program, you can then apply free of charge to use the prestigious title of Certified Business Psychologist or Certified Business Coaching Psychologist, depending on your course. This is a major benefit because this certification is usually paid for at a cost of just under £3,000. It is free and fast-tracked on application, but you must apply by graduates who are members of the ABP when they successfully complete an ABP accredited MSc. And as you would expect, you do have to remain a member of the ABP in order to earn and retain this title. But effectively, that is a saving of nearly £3,000 by being able to fast track access to certified business psychologist or certified business coaching psychologist title. Significant. So, how do you apply for membership of the ABP? Basically, you apply online. I've given you the link here, and you send proof of your current enrollment on an ABP accredited course to this email to my admin colleagues, basically. Once they have that, and we do check to make sure that you are actually enrolled on a fully accredited program, then we will activate your ABP membership straight away. And it's that simple, basically. That's all you need to do. So you've made the extremely smart decision to activate your ABP membership. So what will you see? Well, you'll see a lot of different things on our community hub. We talk about professional membership, as I've said, university accreditation. We have a number of universities and a number of programs that we accredit, and individual certification. So the certification journey starts with certified business psychologist. Some people will choose to go on and become certified principal business psychologists and also fellows of the ABP. We offer our ABP perspectives, a range of industry insights and articles, a number of practical case studies where business psychology has been applied to benefit the workplace and generate great outcomes, and a lot of thought leadership on a whole range of different subjects. We have speaker events, we have panel discussions, we offer specific training in some instances. Last week, I hosted a speaker event with Dr. Tatiana Rausen from Henley, who basically spoke about the challenges of aging and managing yourself through that particular process. Fantastic session. People on there absolutely loved it. We offer a regular podcast with industry experts on a whole range of subjects. I've hosted podcasts covering DE and I with one of our honorary members of the ABP. I've also spoken on podcasts about accreditation and the BizPsych Cup. And the BizPsych Cup basically is an annual competition. It offers a significant student development opportunity. Students who have been through this have described it to me as completely game-changing. Creates insights and recognizing emerging talent. I'll come back to that in a moment. We have our ABP conference, which is our flagship event for learning and networking, which will take place in June next year. I'll give you the dates later. We have the ABP Awards. We've been through the process of collecting all of the award applications, and we're now actually through LinkedIn announcing the final. And I should note that there is an Association for Business Psychology LinkedIn group. You can follow that group. And we have ABP Connect. As I said, that is our member mentoring initiative. Basically, you need to be a member of the ABP in order to access ABP Connect. So, a little bit about the management board. We have a big focus on guardianship and growth. This is our mission. We see this as our responsibility, and that is about upholding the values, standards, and integrity of our field. I mean, our field is an ethics-based field. You learn all about ethics in your programs, and I can't emphasize enough how significant ethics is. And that's about actively protecting and nurturing the reputation of our field, the ethics of our field, as I've alluded to, and the quality of our field. This is all about growing the quality of our field, developing the people who are in our field. And, as guardians, we sort of see our role as being to mentor others, advocate for best practice. And really, it is about leaving the field stronger than we found it. This is not about standing still. This is about the constant evolution, growth, and development of the field of business psychology. So this is not just personal success for those of us involved in the ABP. There's a sense of stewardship and a commitment to the long-term health and the reputation of our field, basically. And growth is a big part of that. That is about mentoring the next generation, basically, driving innovation. How does business psychology work with AI in the future? How do we work more effectively with business? What more can we do? And fostering that environment of continuous learning. What's the next issue? Where's the next challenge coming from? Trying to constantly be ahead of what those challenges may be. Growth means taking it upon ourselves to ensure that our field evolves, that it adapts to new challenges. As I said, we're all going to be working much more closely with AI. If I, sitting in my HR chair, reach first of all for ChatGPT when it comes to devising a solution, where does the business psychologist come in? When do I reach for the business psychologist? Before I go to my chief executive and make myself look like a fool for just using ChatGPT? Of course. So that is, the way that we need to be thinking about the evolution of our field. So we see our role very much as being a catalyst for progress. And it is about, as I said, ensuring that our field survives and thrives. So embracing innovation, as I've said, being ahead of the industry trends. What are we seeing? What are we hearing? Not just now, but 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line. In such a fast-moving environment, what are the challenges that we need to be thinking about? Being open to new ideas and technologies, looking at innovative practices that can improve efficiency, quality, and impact. Mentoring and education, sharing knowledge and experience with others, especially those new to the field. Again, you don't have to have business psychologist in your title. You don't even have to be studying business psychology to be interested in business psychologist. But mentoring, teaching, and helping to shape the future leaders of our field. We foster collaboration. Collaboration is critical in any professional field. And that is not just about working with those in our field, but also outside it. We cannot hope to think about the consequences of AI when it comes to business if we don't know something about how AI is evolving. We need to talk to our computer science friends for that. We need to be understanding how that's working, how AI might be applied in the medical profession, for example. Where else might it be being applied? And that work with others can bring new ideas, new thinking. We need to be careful that we're not just in a business psychology bubble, but always interested and interesting to whatever is going on out there. Advocating for change. Where can our field improve? Is it ethics? Is it diversity? Do we need to do more around DE&I? Practices. How can we implement positive change? Lifelong learning, as I said, is a big deal. You cannot stand still ever in the field of business psychology. The research evolves, and with it, practice must evolve. How can I understand what this piece of research means for the workplace, basically? How can I implement this? How can I think about where I can bring value in addressing the challenges of the workplace? So a commitment to continuous personal and professional development. We need to constantly be expanding our own knowledge and skill sets. And also about promoting best practice. We feel that we need to lead by example in promoting the highest standards of practice within our field. And that is also about our awards. We have a commitment to excellence. We are identifying excellence, and it is those who have demonstrated excellence who will be recognized during our awards event, which will take place next year. So you become a member of the ABP. Most of our activity now happens within the ABP Community Hub. You need to be able be a member in order to be able to sort of fully access this. It includes a community feed, You can post an update. You can write your own article. We encourage people to write articles, catch up on the latest activity. There's also a groups submenu. We have specialist groups set up. If you're interested in psychometrics, there are psychometrics groups. If you're interested in L&D, there are L&D groups. We have a specific group for ABP Connect, as I mentioned, where those who are interested in mentoring as a mentee or a mentor can basically coalesce. So it is all about using the groups within the community hub for networking, basically. You can make great connections there. Find people, find members in groups. This is where we hold details of all of our events, and this is where you can actually book to attend events. It has news articles, recent articles, and perspectives on business psychology. I myself wrote something, I think it must be about 2 weeks ago now, which was basically to do with the psychology of decision making as evidenced by celebrity traitors. I mean, what a feast for a decision-making expert that entire program was. But that's just one example. There are lots of great articles and perspectives on business psychology. We have a media center where we have recordings of events from the past 5 years, news articles, details on the BizSite Cup submissions for the past 4 years of the competition, much, much more. So a real source of excellent resources. BizSite Cup, as I alluded to, details of the past posters, how to get involved. And also we have a professional development space, which includes information on the process of certification, which is the way that individuals may want to develop themselves, starting with that certified business psychologist step, and then maybe beyond. And also where we include details of our volunteering opportunities. So the hub is where it's at, basically. Everything happens in the hub. Think of it as a one-stop shop. I will say something about the BizSite Cup. As I alluded to, I created the BizSite Cup. I run the BizSite Cup. And it is now in its 5th year. It is a high-quality event for student teams. It is open to both accredited and non-accredited universities. Last year, it was won by Arden University. And in fact, their submission, which focused on mentoring, was the basis for the mentoring program that we subsequently introduced into the ABP. So a great example of real impact from something that was a student team response to a BizSite Cup challenge, which was posted by one of our corporate members. The University of Leicester was second last year. Again, another great submission. Accredited universities have the advantage of being able to submit 2 student teams. The competition is open to non-accredited universities, but they can only submit 1 student team. So team applications are currently open. The deadline for submitting a team, which must be done via the ABP website, the link is there, is by 1700 GMT on December the 12th. Any team must be endorsed by an academic because you are representing your institution. As I mentioned, we also have our annual conference. The dates are already in the diary. For next year, the 11th and 12th of June 2026, it will take place out in Brentford Lock, which is in West London. Updates will be written and sent out via our community hub. And we are recruiting volunteers for the conference team. I mean, again, a great way to learn and to network within the ABP. This is an example of the type of events that we run. So this event here, Meet the Author, this was the event that I just alluded to with Dr. Tatiana Rowson, which took place last Friday, had great impact on individuals who were there and who attended. One coming up on the 2nd of December about personality through the lens of cognitive ability, another Meet the Author, coming up in February next year, and coaching with personality. So you see there's a great range of events there. And basically these are online events, so they are accessible irrespective of where you are geographically. And members of the ABP attend these events for free. So a huge offer in terms of free events, basically. We also offer a number of books, and a lot of these books are based on the submissions that we've had for our ABP awards over recent years. So these last two, Enhancing Performance at Work, Creating Thriving Workplaces, these basically are focused on the application of business psychology. And as I said, they effectively represent case studies from the submissions made to the ABP awards over the past few years, basically. So, just a reminder about how you apply for membership. You apply online through the Community Hub. You will be able to access through this link with proof of your current enrollment on an ABP accredited course, and you can be activated straight away. So I'm going to stop the share there and just open it up for any questions. And we are still recording, so just to let you know. Don't be shy, you can ask me anything.
Hello, hi, thank you so much. It was really helpful to hear from you, and all the information. I want to ask about the annual conference. Is there like a fee we need to pay for it, or how does it
The
work?
annual conference does have a cost attached to it, yes. We have
Okay.
not set the conference fee yet, but it is discounted for ABP members.
Okay, thank you so much.
I would also say that uh, any ABP, anyone who makes the final of the BizPsych Cup, the teams are actually invited to present at the conference. And so, at least for the day that they attend the conference, then effectively it's free attendance, and we also cover transportation costs.
Perfect, thank you so much.
No problem. I've got a couple of questions in the chat. Can we apply for ABP membership as current? You can apply now. If you're a current student, you should apply basically on an accredited program, or even if you're not on an accredited program, you should apply for ABP membership now. You do not have to wait. You cannot apply for certified business psychologist status until you have graduated um, from your program. But you can join the ABP absolutely right now if you are on an accredited program, effectively for free. If you are not on an accredited program, then you can basically get a discount, get a student discount rate anyway. So a couple of questions I can see. Are students able to be both a volunteer and participate in the BizPsych Cup? There's no volunteer opportunities in the BizPsych Cup. Basically, I run everything. So I take care of handling all the teams. I take care of handling all of the corporate challenges. I take care of handling, well, pretty much everything, basically. So there aren't any volunteering activities associated with the BizPsych Cup because there is no need. But you are able to participate if you can get together a team. So a little bit more about the competition. So basically, the competition involves the ABP corporate members, and we have a number of corporate members, submit a challenge. They submit their challenge to me. It's a real world challenge based on something that they may be facing in their business, something that they may be experiencing in their business. And student teams are allocated randomly to the challenge. The output for the competition is basically a APA poster that addresses the challenge. So it's not a written document, it is an APA style poster that addresses the particular challenge. Academics can play no role in the competition other than basically assembling the team. The student teams are mentored throughout the competition by a senior member of the ABP, either a certified principal business psychologist or a fellow of the ABP who keeps them focused on the commercial side of the competition. They're not there to help you do the research. They are not there to basically tell you how to answer the question. They're there to keep you focused on the commercial aspects of the challenge, basically. So the student teams go away, they work on their posters. So effectively, it is all about team collaboration and effectiveness. It is all about being able to address the workplace challenge effectively, and identify solutions that have practical application. This is not, am I a great theoretician? Theory plays a role, but it fundamentally is about coming up with a solution that someone could take away and implement into a workplace. So there's a shortlisting process, and basically the teams that are shortlisted are then invited to participate in a virtual final, and the number of teams in the final is predicated by the number of challenges that I receive from the corporate members of the ABP. Teams are assigned, I think someone has asked me this, teams are assigned randomly to the challenges. The mentor applies to the team. Not everyone in the team gets a mentor, so it is one mentor per team, basically. And the mentor, the pro coach angel, as they are called, is there, as I said, to largely keep the group focused on how they respond to the challenges. I'm in the process of gathering the challenges together. I'm expecting challenges from NatWest, from ARP. I already have a challenge from STEN 10. I'm expecting a challenge from Lumina Learning, probably something from MetaLucid, and probably something from SHL. So, these are major players in the world of business psychology, right? And the challenger remains engaged. So the competition kicks off with an opening presentation from the challenger to the teams that are allocated to its challenge. And then there's a subsequent check-in after about four weeks or so to ensure that the teams are going down the right track. So, there is a real opportunity there to impress, a real opportunity for you to stand out, basically, in front of some of the most senior people in our field, for some of the biggest firms in our field. So yeah, the competition, I mean, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, you'll see everything that I've posted on LinkedIn, which also includes a timeline for the competition. The application process for the teams closes, as I noted, in December 12th at 1700 GMT. The competition will kick off properly in January, and the final will take place in early May, as I recall. So hopefully that answers some questions about the BizPsych Cup. And as I said, if you go onto the ABP website also, you will find examples of the posters that have been submitted in subsequent years by the teams who have taken part in the competition. Okay, my question was whether a student can volunteer for the conference, for example, and be in the BizPsych Cup. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing to stop you from volunteering for the conference and from being part of a team in the BizPsych Cup. As I said, all BizPsych Cup teams that make the final are invited to the conference anyway to present their BizPsych Cup posters, basically. Does a student, I think I've answered that question. Okay, any other questions? I can see Anda. Are you there?
I am, yes.
And I wonder, as a former BizPsych Cup participant, if you would just like to say a few words about it.
Of course. As you were speaking, I was actually thinking about how it went last year. So thank you for the opportunity. It was demanding in terms of teamwork, but positively demanding, as in we really had to connect as a team and communicate and move it along the studies and move it along, well, our own lives in London. And that was a really good challenge. And what I absolutely loved about it was its complexity. The fact that we had your support organizing everything in terms of the logistics, the fact that we had a mentor that we could get in touch with whenever we needed any support. And it really reflected something that us at City focus on, which is the scientist practitioner gap, as in the information that we gathered within academia was quite scientifically focused. And whenever we were speaking with the mentor, they would bring in a more corporate, businessy approach to what we would have to do. So I really enjoyed that and valued it. I don't know if there's anything else that you'd like me to say.
No, I think that's really helpful. And thank you very much, Anda. And again, I would say, if anyone who connects with me on LinkedIn, I mean, I wrote an article, I think about 2 or 3 months ago now. Obviously, I've got too much time on my hands and write too many articles about why, in my view, the BizSpsych Cup is what I truly believe is one of the ultimate learning experiences. And team collaboration and learning the art of team collaboration, which is such, I cannot underscore this sufficiently, a critical workplace skill. Really, the teams who have done, fantastically well over the years, have really been great at pulling it together and collaborating. I mean, I will also say that we get amazing support from our corporate members, and some of those corporate members, not all, but some have also then invited the student teams to present to their wider teams in their organizations, basically. So as I said, I mean, this is a tremendous opportunity to make impact as early career practitioners, basically. Any other questions? Lisa, in Coventry, did that cover everything that you and your students wanted?
Yes, I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. We do have one more question, if that's okay, Dawn.
Yeah.
Pragat?
So she's talking about membership that we can take now.
Yes.
Can we get invite for all the events, or the students will get a different invite for specific events?
So just a question from Pragat asking whether the membership would include all the events that you've been speaking about, or are there specific events that are just for students? I think the question is.
No, there are no specific student events. All of the events that I've spoken about, leaving aside the conference and awards, which are separate paid for events, are all open to students, basically. It is likely that in 2026, I will rerun an event I ran in 2024. I didn't run it this year, which basically was an opportunity for students to present their master's dissertations based on a specific theme. I had 5 or 6 students who were part of a panel who presented their master's students. I'll probably rerun that event in 2026. As I say, I didn't get to it this year.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, well, look, please feel free, as I said, to connect with me on LinkedIn. If there was a question that you didn't feel comfortable raising in the room, please either message me through LinkedIn, or even better, activate your ABP membership, and then you can actually connect with me on the community hub and message me there, basically, and see all of the great content, etc., that I've been talking about. So thank you very much, everyone, for thank you, Coventry, and thank you for opening this up for us all. And as I say, I have recorded this session, so I'll be sharing it with all of your academic leads as well. And I really hope to see you on the ABP Community Hub in the very near future. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you
Have a
so
great day.
much. Take care.